Namo Om
Now we
Vishnupad
continue to video
Paramahansa
presentation. Let's begin
Parivrajagacharya
with audio
Ashtottara
podcast.
Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Gaur Bhakt Vrinda Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I hope all you are doing well. Yesterday we have read Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, chapter 1, text till text 10. From today we will be reading from text 11. Okay, so before we can start, let's gonna pray first. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृतं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये जय श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्रश्चत्तदिशतारिणे. So today we will be reading from text in 11, text in 11 Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela text in 11. Okay. So what we have read yesterday in text 10, let's repeat once again. So I am reading on behalf of you. Please listen very carefully. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, text 1, chapter 1, text 10. Jasyang Sangsha Srila Garbhadakashayi Janya Bhabjang Loka Shanghratanalam Lokusrashtu Sutikam Dhatu Swang Sri Nityanandaramang Prapadde. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu sprouted the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem is that lotus is the resting place of multitude of planets. Text 11. Jasyang sang sangsha Jasyang sang sangsha paratma Khilanang pushta Vishnur bhati dukdagdisha e Bharta yatkala sohopananta Stang nityananda ramang prapadye. Yasha whose amsa a portion of plenary portion. Paratma the super soul. Akhila Naman all the living entity. Prosta the maintainer. The Vishnu Vati appeared. Dugdhabdishayi Hirdakashayi Vishnu. Kaushini Bharta, upholder of the earth, Yat Bush, Kala, portion of portion, Sha, he, Api, certainly, Ananta, Sesanaga, Tam, to him, Sri Nityananda Rama, to Lord Balarama in form of Lord Nityananda, Prapadde, I surrender. Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, whose secondary part is the Vishnu, is lying on the ocean of milk. That Kirdakashai Vishnu, that Kirdakashai Vishnu is the super soul of all living entity and the maintainer of all universe. Says Naga is further southward. Says Naga is further southward. महाविष्णु जगत कर्ता माया य सृजत्वत् तस्यावतार एवयं दैतचार्य ईश्वर Mahavishnu, Mahavishnu, the resting place of efficient cause, Jagat Karta, the creator of cosmic world, Maya, by the illusionary energy, Yah, who, Sriyati, creates, Ada, the universe, Tasya is Avatara, incarnation, Eva, certainly, Ayam, this, Advaita Acharya, Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, the resting place of material cause. The Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the action of Maya. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu whose main function is to create cosmic world through the action of Maya. Text 13 Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila chapter 1 text 13 Advaitam Harina Dvaitachar Yang Bhakti Shvangshanat Bhaktavataramishaं Tvamadvaitacharya Master A. Advaitam, known as Advaita, Harina, the Lord Hari, with the Lord Hari. Advaita, from beginning non-indifferent, from being non-different. Acharyam, known as Acharya. Bhakti Samshanat, from the propagation of devotional service to Sri Krishna. Bhakta Avatarang, the incarnation as a devotee. Isham, to the Supreme Lord. Tam, to him. Advaita Acharya, to the Advaita Acharya. Asta, I surrendered. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. Because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. Because he is a non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. Because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. Text 14. पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तक्षं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् Panchatattvatakam Krishna, comprehending the five transcendental subject matter. Krishnam, unto Lord Krishna. Bhakta Rupa, in form of devotee. Swarupakam, in the expansion of devotee. Bhaktavataram, in the incarnation of devotee. Bhaktaksham, known as devotee. Namami, I offer my obeisances. Bhakta Saktikam, the energy of Supreme Personality Godhead who supply energy to the devotee. Translation. I offer my obeisances unto Supreme Lord Krishna, who is a non-different from his feature as a devotee, devotional incarnation, devotional manifestation, pure devotee, and devotional energy. I offer my obeisances unto Supreme Lord Krishna, who is a non-different from his feature as a devotee, devotional incarnation, devotional manifestation, and pure devotee and devotional energy. जयोतं सुरतौ पङ्गुर्मं मन्दोर्मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भजौ राधामदनमोहनौ Jayotam, all glory of Surato, the most merciful, or attached in conjugal love, Pango, of one who is lamb, Mama of me, Mandamati, foolish, Gati, refuse, Mat, my, Sarva Seva, everything. Padambhujau, whose lotus feet, Radha Madan Mohano, Radharani and Madan Mohana. Glory to the all merciful Radha and Madan Mohana. I am lame and ill advised, yet they are my director, and their lotus feet are everything to me. Glory to the all merciful Radha and Madan Mohana. I am lame and ill advised, yet they are my director, and their lotus feet are everything to me. Very important line. Glory to the all merciful Radha and Madan Mohana. I am lame and ill advised, yet they are my director, and their lotus feet are everything to me. Text 16. दिव्य बृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमधा श्रीमद् रत्नागर सिंहासनस्थौ राधा श्रीमद् राधा श्रील गोविंद देव्यौ पृष्ठालीभि सेव्यमान्यौ स्मरामि Divya, shining, Vrindya Aranya in the forest of Vrindavana, Kalpa Dhruma, desire tree, Abda, beneath, Srimad, the most beautiful, Ratna Angara in the temple of jewel, Shimya Asana Sthanau, sitting on the throne, Srimad, very beautiful, Radha, Srimati Radharani, Srila Govinda Devu and Sri Govinda Deva. Prishta Alibdi by most confidential associate. Seva Manu being served. Smarami, I remember. In the temple of jewel in Brindavan, in temple of jewel in Brindavan, underneath a desired tree, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associate, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. In the temple of jewel in Vrindavana, underneath desired tree, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most conjugal associate, sit upon a effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. श्रीमन्रासरसारम्भी बंसी बटस्तटस्थित कर्शनवेणुर्ष्वर्णैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियहस्तु नः श्रीमन्रासरसारम्भी बंसीबटतटस्थित कर्शनवेणुस्वर्णैर्गोपीगोपीनाथ श्रिय श्रेयहस्तौ न Sriman, the most beautiful rasa of the ras dancer, rasa of the melo, Arambhi, the initiator, Vamsivatak, Vamshivat, Tata, on the shore, Sthita, standing, Karshan, attracting, Venu, of the flute, Venu, on the flute, so, so, Shoni, by the sound, Gopi, the cowherd girl, Gopinatha, Sri Gopinatha, Sri A, benediction, Astu, let there be, Na, or translation, Srila Gopinatha, who originated the transcendental mellow of the Rasdansa, stands on the shore in the Vamshi Bhatta and attract the attention of the cowherd damsel with the sound of their celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Srila Gopinatha, who originated the transcendental mellow of Rasa Dansa, stand on their shore in the Vamshivata and attract the attention of the cowherd damsel with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Text 8. জয় জয় শ্রী চৈতন্য জয় নিত্যানন্দ জয়াদ্বৈত চন্দ্র জয় গৌর ভক্ত বৃন্দ Jaya Jaya, all glory, Sri Chaitanya to Sri Chaitanya. Jaya, all glory, Nityananda to Lord Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, all glory to Advaita Acharya. Jaya, all glory, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda to the devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Glory to Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda, glory to Advaita Acharya, Advaita Chandra, and glory to all devotee of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. Glory to Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda, glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotee of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. এই তিন ঠাকুর গৌরিয়াকে করিয়াছেন আত্মসাৎ, এই তিনের চরণ বন্দৌ তিনে মোর নাথ। এই these tina three ঠাকুর deity গৌরিয়াকে the Gauriya Vaishnavas Kariachen have done, Attvasat absorbed. A. These Pinera of these three, Charane lotus feet, Bando I worship, Tine these three, more my, Natha Lord. Translation: These three deity of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, these three deity of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinatha, have absorbed the heart of the soul of Gauriya Vaishnavas, follower of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the Lord of my heart. These three deities of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinatha have absorbed the heart of the soul of Gaudiya Vaishnavas, follower of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the Lord of my heart. Purport: The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita offer his respectful obeisances unto the three deities of Vrindavana named Sri Radha Madan Mohana, Sri Radha Govinda Deva, Sri Radha Gopinath Ji. These three deities are life and soul of Bengali Vaishnavas or Gauriya Vaishnavas who have a natural aptitude for residing in Vrindavan. The Gauriya Vaishnavas who follow strictly in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worship the divinity by chanting transcendental sound meant to develop a sense of one transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord, a reciprocation of melo rasa of mutual affection, and ultimately the achievement of the desired source in the loving service. These three deities are worshipped in three different stages of one's development. The follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu scrupulously follow this principle of approach. Gaudiya Vaishnavas perceive the ultimate objective in Vedic hymns composed in 18 transcendental letters that adore Krishna or Madan Mohana, Govinda, and Govinda Vallabha. Sorry, Gopijana Vallabha. Madan Mohan is he who charmed the Cupid, the god of love. Govinda is he who pleases the senses, the cows, and the Gopijana Vallabha is the transcendental lover of Gopi. Krishna himself is called Madan Mohana, Govinda, and Gopijana Vallabha, and countless other names as he plays in his different pastime with his devotee. The three deity Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopijana Vallabha have very specific quality. Worship of Madan Mohana is on the platform of re-establishing our forgotten relationship with the personality of Godhead. In the material world, we are presently in the utter ignorance of eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Pango refers to one who cannot move independently by their own strength, and the Mandamatek is one who is less intelligent because he is too absorbed in materialistic activity. It is best for such person not to aspire for success in fruitive activity or mental speculation, but instantly simply to surrender to the Supreme Personality Godhead. The protection of life is simply surrender to the Supreme Law, to the Supreme. In the beginning of our spiritual life, we must therefore worship Madan Mohana so that he may attract us and nullify our attachment for material sense gratification. This relationship with Madan Mohana is necessary for neopathy devotee. When one wishes to render service to the Lord with strong attachment, one worships Govinda on the platform of transcendental service. Govinda is a reservoir of all pleasure. When by the grace of Krishna and the when by the grace of Krishna and the devotee one reach perfection in devotional service, he can appreciate Krishna as a Gopi Jana Vallabha, the pleasure of deity or damsel of Braja. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained this mode of devotional service three stage. Therefore, this worshipable deity were installed in Vrindavan by different Goswamis. They are very dear to Gauriya Vaishnavas there, who visit in temple at least once a day. Beside the temple of this Sri deity, may other temple have been established in Vrindavan, such as the temple of Radha Damodar of Jiva Goswami, the temple of the Samsundar Samsundara by Samananda Goswami, the temple of Gokulananda of Loknath Goswami, and the temple of Radharamana of Gopalbhatta Goswami. These are the seven principal temple of 400 years old that are most important in the 5,000 temple now existing in Vrindavan. Goryeo indicates the part of India between the southern side of Himalayan mountain and the northern part of Vindhya hill, which is called Aryavrat. Goryeo indicate the part of India between the southern side of the Himalayan mountain and northern part of Vindhya hill, which is called Aryavarta, or the Lord of Aryan. The portion of India is divided in the five part of province: Saraswata, Kashmir and Punjab, Kanyakumcha, Uttar Pradesh, including the modern city of Lucknow, Madhya Gaudiya, Madhya Pradesh, Maithila, Bihar, and part of Bengal, Utkala, the part of Bengal, and the whole of Orissa. The Bengal is sometimes called Gaura Desha, the partly because in the form of portion of Maithila, and partially because of capital of Hindu king Raja Lakshmana Sena was known as a Gauda. This old capital later came to be known as a Gaurapura or gradually Mayapura. Okay. This devotee of Orissa called Udiyas, the devotee of Bengal called Gaudiyas. The devotee of Odisha are called Odiyas, and the devotee of Bengal called Gaudiyas. And the devotee of the southern India are known as a Dravida devotee. As there are five provinces in Aryavarta, so Aryavarta, so Dakshinatya, the southern India, is also divided into five provinces, which are called Dravida. The four Vaishnavacharya, who are the great authority in the four Vaishnava disciplic succession, as known as Sripad Sankaracharya, the Mayavadi school, appeared in the Panchadravira province. Among the four Vaishnavacharya who are accepted, the Gauriya Vaishnava, Sri Ramanujacharya accepted the southern part of Andhra Pradesh at Mahabhutapuri. Sri Madhavacharya appeared in the Pajakam, the near Bhimanagiri in the district of the Mangalore. Sri Vishnu Swami appeared at Pandya at Nimbakacharya appeared as a Mungara Patana in the extreme south. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts the chain of disciplic succession in the Madhavacharya, but the Vaishnava in his line do not accept the Tattvavadis, who also claim to be the Madhva Sampradaya. To distinguish themselves clearly from the Tattvavadi branches of Madhva descendant, the Vaishnavas of Bengal prefer to call themselves Gauriya Vaishnava. See, Madhavacharya is known as Sri Gaura Puranananda, and therefore the name of Madhava Gauriya Sampradaya is quite suitable for the disciplic succession of Gauriya Vaishnava. Our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, accepted initiation in the Madhva Gauriya Sampradaya. গ্রন্থের আরম্ভে করি মঙ্গলাচরণ গুরু বৈষ্ণব ভগবান তিনের স্মরণ গ্রন্থের আরম্ভে করি মঙ্গলাচরণ গুরু বৈষ্ণব ভগবান তিনের স্মরণ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট টেক্সট টেক্সট 20 গুরু গ্রন্থের আরম্ভে করি মঙ্গলাচরণ গুরু বৈষ্ণব ভগবান তিনের স্মরণ Granthera of this book, Arambhe, in the beginning, Kari, I make, Mangala Charan, auspicious invocation, Guru, the spiritual master, Vaishnava, the devotee of Lord, Bhagavan, the supreme personality Godhead, Tinera of these three, Smarana, remembering. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotee of the Lord, and the personality Godhead, I have invoked their benediction. In the beginning of the narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotee of the Lord, and the personality Godhead, I have invoked their benediction. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotee of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benediction. তিনের স্মরণে হয় বিঘ্ন বিনাশন অনায়াসে হয় নিজ বাঞ্ছিত পূরণ তিনের স্মরণে হয় বিঘ্ন বিনাশন অনায়াসে হয় নিজ বাঞ্ছিত পূরণ তিনেরা of these three স্মরণে by remembrance হয় there is বিঘ্ন বিনাশন the destruction of all difficulties অনায়াসে very easily হয় there is নিজ our own Banchita of the desired object, Purana fulfillment. Translation Such remembrance destroy all difficulties and very easily enable one to fulfill his one desire. Such remembrance destroy all difficulties and very easily enable one to fulfill own desire. সে মঙ্গলাচরণ হয় ত্রিবিধ প্রকার বস্তু নির্দেশ আশীর্বাদ নমস্কার সে মঙ্গলাচরণ হয় ত্রিবিধ প্রকার বস্তু নির্দেশ আশীর্বাদ নমস্কার সে দ্যাট মঙ্গলাচরণ auspicious invocation হয় is ত্রিবিধ three kind প্রকার process বস্তু নির্দেশা defining the object Ashirvada, benediction, Ashirvada, benediction, Namaskara, obeisances. The invocation involves three processes defining the objective, offering benediction, and offering obeisances. The invocation involves three processes defining the objective, offering benediction, and offering obeisances. প্রথম দুই শ্লোকে ইষ্টদেব নমস্কার সামান্য বিশেষ রূপে দুই তপকার প্রথম দুই শ্লোকে ইষ্টদেব নমস্কার সামান্য বিশেষ রূপে দুই তপ্রকার প্রথম ইন দ্য ফার্স্ট দুই টু শ্লোকা ভার্সেস ইষ্টদেব worshipable deity namaskara obeisances samaya samanya generally विशेष रूपे and the speciality and this specifically sorry विशेष रूपे and specifically dui to the certainly prakara way. The first two verses offer respectful obeisances generally and specifically to the Lord who is the subject of worship. The first two verses offer respectful obeisances generally and specifically to the Lord who is object of worship. তৃতীয় শ্লোকে করি বস্তুর নির্দেশ, যাহা হইতে জানি পরতত্ত্বের উপদেশ। তৃতীয় শ্লোকে in the third verse করি I make vastura of the object, nirdesh indication, ye haite from which jani I understand, paratatpera of the absolute truth, udves identification. In the third verse, I indicate the absolute truth, who is the ultimate substance, which such description, with such description, one can visualize the supreme truth. In the third verse, I indicate the absolute truth, who is the ultimate substance. With such a description, one can visualize the supreme truth. চতুর্থ শ্লোকে করি জগতে আশীর্বাদ, সর্বত্র মাগিয়ে কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রসাদ। চতুর্থ fourth শ্লোকে in the verse করি I make জগতে for the world আশীর্বাদ benediction. Sarvatra, everywhere, Magiye, I am begging Krishna Chaitanya of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prasada, the mercy. In the fourth verse, I have invoked the benediction of the Lord upon all the world, praying to Lord Chaitanya for his mercy upon all. সেই শ্লোকে করি বাহ্যাবতার কারণ, পঞ্চষষ্ঠ শ্লোকে করি মূল প্রয়োজন। সেই শ্লোকে in that some verse kahi I tell Vaya the external avatar for the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya, Karanya reason, Pancha the fifth, Sashta, Pancha the fifth, Sashta, and the sixth sloke in the verse kahi I tell Mula the prime, Prayojana the purpose. In that verse, I have also explained the external reason for Lord Chaitanya incarnation, but in the fifth and sixth verse, I have explained the prime reason for his advent. এই ছয় শ্লোকে কহি শ্রী চৈতন্যের তত্ত্ব, আর পঞ্চ শ্লোকে নিত্যানন্দের মহত্ব। এই these Chaya 6 Sloke in verse Kahi I describe Chaitanyera of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Tattva truth. Era further Pancha Sloke in 5 verse Nityanandera of Lord Nityananda Mahatattva the glory. Glory. Mahatva glory. In this sixth verse I have described the truth about Lord Chaitanya, whereas in the next five verse I have described the glory of Lord Nityananda. আর দুই শ্লোকে অদ্বৈতের তত্ত্বাখ্যান, আর এক শ্লোকে পঞ্চতত্ত্বের ব্যাখ্যান। আর দুই শ্লোকে অদ্বৈত তত্ত্বজ্ঞান, অদ্বৈতের তত্ত্বাখ্যান, আর এক শ্লোকে পঞ্চতত্ত্বের ব্যাখ্যান। আর ফার্দার দুই শ্লোকে in two verses Advaita of Sri Advaita Prabhu, Tattvera of the truth, Akhyana description, or further एक श्लोके in one verse Panchatattva of the Panchatattva Vyakhyan explanation. The next two verses describe the truth of Advaita Prabhu, and the following verses describe the Panchatattva, the Lord, his plenary portion, his incarnation, his energy, and his devotee. So, what is the Panchatattva? Panchatattva means the Lord, his plenary portion, his incarnation, his energy, and his devotee. এই 14 শ্লোকে করি মঙ্গলাচরণ, তহি মধ্যে কহি বস্তু, তহি মধ্যে কহি সব বস্তু নিরূপণ। এই 14 শ্লোকে করি মঙ্গলাচরণ, তহি মধ্যে কহি সব বস্তু নিরূপণ। এই 14 শ্লোকে in this 14th verse করি I make Mangalacharan auspicious invocation. Kahi, therefore in that মধ্যে within Kahi I speak sub all Vastu object Nirupan the description Nirupan description. This 14th verse therefore offer auspicious invocation and describe the supreme truth. সব শ্রোতা বৈষ্ণবেরে করি নমস্কার। এই সব শ্লোকের করি অর্থ বিচার। সব শ্রোতা বৈষ্ণবেরে করি নমস্কার। এই সব শ্লোকের করি অর্থ বিচার। সব all শ্রোতা hearer or audience, Vaishnavara unto the Vaishnava, Kori offering, Namaskara, obeisances, এই সব শ্লোকের all of all these 14 verses, Kari I make artha of the meaning, vichara, analysis. I offer my obeisances unto all my Vaishnava reader as I begin to explain the intricacies of all these verses. Intricacy of these verses. I offer my obeisances unto all my Vaishnava's reader as I begin to explain the intricacy of all these verses. সকল বৈষ্ণব শুনো করি এক মন, চৈতন্য কৃষ্ণের শাস্ত্র মত নিরূপণ। সকল বৈষ্ণব শুনো করি এক মন, চৈতন্য কৃষ্ণের শাস্ত্র মত নিরূপণ। সকল all Vaishnava, O devotee of Lord, শুনো, please hear, করি making, एक मन rapt attention, Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishnara of Lord Sri Krishna, Shastra, scriptural reference, Mata, according to Nirupan, decision. I request all my Vaishnava reader to read and hear with rapt attention this narration of Sri Krishna Chaitanya as inculcated in the revealed scripture. Lord Chaitanya is the absolute truth Krishna himself. This is substantiated by evidence from the authentic spiritual scripture. Sometimes people accept a man as God on the basis of their whimsical sentiment and without reference to be revealed scripture. But author of Chaitanya Charitamrita proves all his statements by citing the Shastra. Thus, he established that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead. কৃষ্ণ গুরু ভক্ত শক্তি অবতার প্রকাশ, কৃষ্ণ এই ছয় রূপে করেন বিলাস। কৃষ্ণ গুরু ভক্ত শক্তি অবতার প্রকাশ। কৃষ্ণ গুরু ভক্ত শক্তি অবতার প্রকাশ, কৃষ্ণ এই ছয় রূপে করেন বিলাস। Krishna, the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, Guru, the spiritual master, Bhakta, the devotee, Shakti, the potencies, Avatara, incarnation, Prakasa, the plenary portion, Krishna, Lord Krishna, এই ছয় রূপে, this sixth feature, Koren Vilasa, enjoys. Lord Krishna enjoy by manifesting himself as a spiritual master, the devotee, the diverse energy, the incarnation, and the plenary portion. They all they are all six in one. এই ছয় তত্ত্বের করি চরণবন্দন, প্রথমে সামান্য করি মঙ্গলাচরণ। এই ছয় তত্ত্বের করি চরণবন্দন, প্রথমে সামান্য করি মঙ্গলাচরণ। এই these choya six tattvera of this expansion kori I make charana the lotus feet bandhana prayer prathame at first samanya of in general kori I make mangala charan the auspicious invocation. I therefore worship the lotus feet of these six diversities of the one truth by invoking their benediction. वन्दे गुरो निशभक्तानीशमीशावतारकं त्वत्प्रकाशंश्च तच्छक्ति कृष्णचैतन्यसङ्गकम्. Bande, I offer respectful obeisances, Gurun, unto the spiritual master, Isha Bhaktang, unto the devotee of the Supreme Lord, Isham, unto the Supreme Lord, Isha Avatarakam, unto the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Tat of the Supreme Lord, Prakashan, unto the manifestation, Cha and Tat, the Supreme Lord, Tat of the Supreme Lord, Shakti, unto the potency, Krishna Chaitanya, say Krishna Chaitanya, Shangakam, named. I offered my respectful obeisances unto spiritual master, devotee of the Lord, Lord incarnation, his plenary portion, his energy, and the primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has composed these Sanskrit verse for the beginning of this book, and now he will explain it in detail. He offered respectful obeisances in six principles of absolute truth. Guru is plural in the number because anyone who gives spiritual instruction based on the revealed scripture is accepted as spiritual master. Although other gives help in showing the way to beginners, the guru who first initiate one which the Mahamantra is to be known as initiator, and the saint who gives instruction for progressive advancement Sri Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual master. The initiation and instructing spiritual master are equal and identical manifestation of Krishna, although they have a different dealing. Their function is to guide the conditioned soul back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami accepted Nityananda Prabhu and six Goswami in the category of Guru. Isha Bhaktan refers to devotee of the Lord, Sri, devotee of Lord like Srivasa, and all other such followers who are the energy of the Lord and qualitatively non-different from him. Ishavatarakam refers to Acharya like Advaita Acharya who is an avatar of Lord. Tat Prakashan indicate the direct manifestation of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Nityananda Prabhu and the initiating spiritual master Takcharita refers to spiritual energy, Sakti of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhara, Damodara, and Jagadananda belongs to this category of internal energy. The six principles are directly manifested, but all equally worshipable. Krishnadas Kaviraja began by offering his obeisances unto them to teach us the method of worshipping Lord Chaitanya. The external potency of Godhead, called Maya, can never associate with the Lord, just as the darkness cannot remain in the presence of light. Yet, darkness, being but an illusionary and temporary covering of light, has no existence independent of light. মন্ত্রগুরু আর যত শিক্ষাগুরুগণ তাঁহার চরণে আগে করিয়ে বন্দন। মন্ত্রগুরু আর যত শিক্ষাগুরুগণ তাঁহার চরণে আগে করিয়ে বন্দন। Mantra Guru, the initiating spiritual master, are and also yet as many as there are Shiksha Guru Gana, all instructing spiritual master, Tahara, of all of them, Charane, unto the lotus feet, Age, at first, Kariye, I offer, Vandana, respectful obeisances. I first offer my respectful obeisances all the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual master. I first offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual master. Srila Jiva Goswami, in his thesis Bhakti Sandarbha, has stated that uncontaminated devotional service is the object of pure Vaishnava and that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotee. By associating with devotee of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus become inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. If one desire unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with a devotee of Sri Krishna. For by such association, one can, a conditioned soul, achieve a taste for transcendental love and thus revive his eternal relationship with the Godhead in a specific manifestation and in terms of specific transcendental melo rasa that one has eternally inherent in him. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna consciousness activity, one can know the supreme absolute truth, but he who try to understand God simply by logical argument will not succeed, nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. The devotee already attracted by the name, form, quality, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. He need to waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. He did not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciple energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engaged a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scripture acceptance more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of the instructing spiritual master one may accept. Generally, the spiritual master who constantly instruct a disciple in spiritual science become his initiating spiritual master later on. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept spiritual master be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact he is sure to encounter many sublime block of his path of process towards spiritual realization, with the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without rudder. For such a for such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept spiritual master if he at all desire to gain the favor of Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential. If there is no chances to serve spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instruction. There is no difference between spiritual master instruction and the spiritual master himself. In his absence, therefore, his word of direction should be pride of the disciple. If one think that he is above consulting anyone else, including the spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that the serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of sastric injunction. Srila Jiva Goswami advised that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary social and celestial convention. One should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding. Here we concluded reading for today. Now let's jump into the insight. We have made a separate video presentation and audio podcast, and we are attaching both in the end of the original video. So stay tuned, please watch till the end, and you will get the better insight. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, अनंत कोटि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय.
Have you ever cracked open a classic text, something really important, and just felt completely lost? Yeah, we've all been there. Today we're diving into one of those, the Caitanya Caritamrita. It's a foundational work in the Gaudiya Vaishnav tradition, and its opening is famous for being both incredibly profound and, let's be honest, seriously complex. So, our goal here is to find the hidden logic, the secret blueprint that makes it all click into place.
I mean, right out of the gate, you get hit with lines like this one. This is from the 11th verse. You're reading along and suddenly a portion of, what? It feels like you're trying to solve some kind of spiritual calculus, and it's so easy to just shut the book before you've even really started.
So, that's really the big question, right? How do we make sense of this? Is it just supposed to be beautiful but impenetrable poetry? Or is there actually a system, a method to the madness? Well, it turns out there absolutely is. And the best part, the author himself gives us the key.
All of this complexity is packed into just the first 14 verses. In Sanskrit literature, this is called an invocation. You can think of it as a traditional opening that kind of sets the stage for everything that's about to come. It offers praise, it introduces the key players, and it lays out the big ideas for the entire book.
Now here's what's so brilliant. The author, Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami, he knew this was dense stuff. He didn't just weave this intricate web of theology and then expect everyone to figure it out on their own. Nope, he actually built a guide on how to read it, right into the text itself. He calls this opening a Mangalacharana, and just when the poetry feels like it's at its most complicated, he literally pauses the whole thing and lays out the entire structure for us. It's like an architect handing you the blueprint to his own magnificent building, revealing the deliberate, methodical plan behind all the beauty. In text 22, he basically says, okay, let me break this down for you. He tells us that this whole opening section has three main jobs. First, it defines the objective, pinpointing the absolute truth. Second, it offers benedictions, a blessing for the world. And third, it offers obeisances, or respectful prayers. So you see, every single verse has a specific purpose. Nothing is random. And here it is, the blueprint in action. Just look at this table. The author assigns a specific role to every verse or group of verses. The first few take care of the essentials, obeisances, defining the truth, giving a blessing. But then, check it out, he dedicates whole sections to specific figures. 5 whole verses just for Lord Nityananda, 2 for Advaita Prabhu. What looked like a tangled mess a minute ago is now a clear, logical progression. All right, so let's put this blueprint to use. Now that we have the map, we can finally start to understand who's who. The blueprint tells us that verses 12 and 13, for example, are set aside specifically to explain the truth of a figure named Advaita Prabhu. And when we go look at those verses, boom, it's crystal clear. Who is he? Well, his divine identity is an incarnation of Mahavishnu, the creator of the universe. And what about his name? Advaita means non-different, because he's one with the Supreme Lord. And Acharya means teacher, because his whole purpose is to spread the path of devotion. The blueprint leads us right to this beautiful clarity. Now, let's circle back to that super confusing line from the beginning. Remember? It's from text 11. If we look at our blueprint, where does verse 11 fall? Right in the middle of the section dedicated to explaining the glory of Lord Nityananda. So you see, that complex, layered description isn't just random theological jargon. It's a precise statement placed exactly where it needs to be, as part of a systematic explanation. But wait, He gets even deeper. The structure isn't just introducing people. Hidden within the invocation, the author introduces 3 specific deities. And according to the commentary on the text, these aren't just random names. They actually represent a complete step-by-step path for spiritual growth. The journey starts with Madana Mohana. Think of this as stage 1. It's for the beginner, the neophyte devotee. The whole focus here is on getting back to basics, reestablishing that fundamental, forgotten relationship with God, and, working to overcome our attachment to all the stuff in the material world. It's the essential first step. Okay, so once that foundation is solid, the devotee moves on to stage 2, the worship of Govinda. At this point, the focus shifts to active service, but a service that's done with real affectionate attachment. This is where devotion stops being just a concept and becomes a dynamic, loving relationship. And that leads to the final stage, the pinnacle, the worship of Gopinatha. This represents the absolute perfection of devotional service. Gopinatha is seen as the ultimate object of divine love, a stage that's appreciated by those who've reached the most advanced levels. So yeah, hidden right there in the opening praise is a 3-step guide to spiritual perfection. How cool is that? Okay, there is one last major concept that's locked inside this amazing structure. It has to do with the very nature of the absolute truth itself. The text explains that the supreme truth is fundamentally one, but it manifests and enjoys itself in several distinct yet completely unified ways.
So how many different ways does this one truth manifest? Well, according to the text, the magic number is 6. There are 6 principal features through which the single absolute truth reveals itself.
And these 6 categories really cover the whole shebang. You have the spiritual masters who guide us, and the devotees who walk the path with us. Then you have divine energies, the different incarnations, and those complex plenary portions we heard about, which are basically direct expansions of the Lord. And of course, at the very center of it all is the Supreme Lord Himself. Each one is distinct, but they all come from that one single source.
And the verse wraps it all up with this incredibly powerful, unifying statement: they are all 6 in one. It's just the perfect summary of a core theological principle, this idea of a deep, profound unity within a beautiful, vibrant diversity.
So what we see is that what first looks like this incredibly dense, maybe even confusing poetic introduction is actually something much, much more. It's a meticulously organized spiritual roadmap designed by the author himself to guide us, the readers, every step of the way. And really, in the end, the structure is the lesson. The author intentionally takes us from a state of confusion to one of systematic clarity. He's not just teaching us what to believe, he's teaching us how to approach and understand these deep truths in a progressive, logical way. And that kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? Whether we're reading something spiritual, scientific, or philosophical, how does looking for the author's own blueprint, their own hidden structure, change the way we read and learn from any complex work?
Now we completed the video presentation. Let's begin with audio podcast.
Hello and welcome to the deep dive. We're so glad you could join us. Today we're looking into something really quite profound. It's a spiritual text called Worshipping the 6 Principles of the Absolute Truth. You've given us this amazing collection of, ancient verses and some really deep explanations. Our mission here is to kind of walk you through these sources, pull out the key ideas so you can get a handle on this wisdom pretty quickly. We'll explore how this text gives a really comprehensive view of the divine, its different forms, and also the path to connect spiritually. It's not just about old words, right? It's about seeing if these principles offer maybe a new way to think about spiritual journeys.
Indeed. And what's striking right away is the structure. The text begins with something called Magalakaram. These are auspicious invocations. And it's not just, a formality, it's really foundational. Setting the intention, seeking blessings before you even start trying to understand.
Okay, so like preparing the ground before planting a seed, making sure everything's right for growth.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it.
So let's start right there with these Mangalakaran. What's the deeper purpose? Why are they so critical at the beginning?
Well, the text explains that these invocations, and they're achieved simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees, and the Lord himself, they serve a really crucial purpose. They're said to destroy difficulties, obstacles, and importantly, they make it easier to fulfill one's desires, spiritually speaking. So the very act of remembrance is powerful. It sets a positive foundation.
Aligning yourself right from the start.
Exactly. Aligning with divine grace.
And it seems very intentional. You mentioned it breaks down into steps, defining the objective, offering benedictions, obeisances. Why those specific actions?
That's a great question. It shows, I think, a real understanding of, well, spiritual practice and maybe even psychology. The author lays out how the first verses offer obeisances to the Lord, acknowledging the divine, generally and specifically. Then the text points to the absolute truth, the ultimate substance. After that, it broadens out, invoking blessings for everyone, the whole world, even praying specifically for Lord Caitanya's mercy. It even touches on why he appeared, the external and internal reasons. So you see, it's not just saying hello.
No, definitely not. It's like a roadmap built into the prayer itself. Very structured.
Meticulously structured, yes.
Yeah.
It sets a profound stage.
Wow. So those first 14 verses aren't just an opening prayer, they're laying the whole groundwork. Introducing key figures like Lord Caitanya, Nityananda, Advaita Prabhu, the Panyakatattva. It really primes you, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It establishes the core figures and ideas right away, preparing you for the deeper truths to come.
Okay, so the intention is set, the blessings invoked. Now the text shifts, right, from how we approach this to what it reveals about the divine. It sounds like it presents this interconnected picture of divine forms. How does it start unfolding that, say, with Lord Nityananda Rama?
Yes, Sri Nityananda Rama, he's introduced as, well, paramount, foundational. He's an expansion of Lord Balarama. The text describes his influence as vast. It extends even to cosmic maintainers like Kardakashivyo.
Kardakashivyo. He's the one who sustains the universes.
That's right. He acts as the super soul in every living being. And even Siyanaga, who metaphorically holds up the earth, he's considered a further expansion, a subpart of Nityananda Rama's potency.
So Nityananda Rama is tied into the very fabric of existence, the maintenance of everything, a whole lineage of divine function.
Precisely.
Okay, so that's Nityananda Rama. Then how does Lord Vaidyakarya fit into this picture?
Lord of Vaidyakarya, as the text presents him, is an incarnation of Mahavyu.
Mahabhyam, the aspect of God responsible for creation.
Exactly. His main role, his function, is orchestrating the creation of the cosmic world. He does this through Maya, the illusory energy that governs the material realm. And his name is significant. Advaita means non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord. It points to his divine essence. And Akarya means teacher, because he propagates devotion. He teaches the path.
So he's both the power behind creation and a spiritual guide. That's quite unique.
It is a unique position, yes, embodying both divine power and devotional spirit.
And all this leads towards the concept of the Panyakatattva mentioned in a later verse. Can you unpack that for us? What does Panyakatattva mean here?
Panyakatattva literally translates to 5 truths or 5 features. It refers to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his 4 main associates. They are all understood as different ways the absolute truth manifests.
Okay, 5 ways.
Yes. As a devotee, that's Lord Caitanya himself. As a devotional incarnation, Nityananda Prabhu. A devotional manifestation, Advaita Karya. Then, as a pure devotee, usually Gadatharapeta, sometimes Srivasa. And finally, as devotional energy, that's Srivasa Akuta and other pure devotees.
I see. So it's not just seeing them as separate figures, but as interconnected aspects of the one truth.
Exactly. They aren't isolated deities. They form this larger, interconnected divine structure, each showing a different facet of the absolute.
That's a powerful idea, that the divine isn't just up there, but woven into the world, the teachers, even our own devotion.
Precisely. Recognizing divinity in all these aspects of the spiritual journey, not just at the top.
So we've seen the structure, the key players, but the text goes further, right? It gives a practical framework for actually engaging with this progressive path of devotion. Using the 3 Vrindavana deities, how does that guide someone?
This is really a key takeaway, especially for anyone interested in the Gaitya Vaitava path.
That's the tradition focusing on Kullens and Lord Caitanya.
Yes, primarily. Rooted in Bengal historically. It emphasizes Lord Caitanya's teachings. So the text introduces 3 specific deities. Shri Radha Madana Mohana, Shri Radha Govindadeva, and Shri Radha Gopinathaji. They represent worship in 3 distinct progressive stages of spiritual development. It's like a spiritual ladder, mirroring how our relationship with the divine matures.
Okay, a progression. So stage 1, for the beginner, the text says Madana Mohana. Why start there?
Madana Mohana helps us reestablish our forgotten relationship with God. The text uses the phrase lame and ill-advised for those starting out, maybe meaning, unable to progress spiritually on their own or absorbed in material things.
Less intelligent because of material focus, perhaps.
Possibly. So the instruction is simple. Surrender. Just surrender to the Supreme. Madana Mohana's name means one who charms even Cupid, so he helps us break our attachments to material sense pleasure. He acts as a refuge, a director for those initial steps.
Guiding away from distractions towards surrender. That makes sense as a first step. What's next?
As someone makes progress and feels a desire to actually serve with strong attachment, then they worship Govinda.
Govinda.
Govinda is called the reservoir of all pleasures. He pleases the senses, pleases the cows. This stage is about active, transcendental service. It's moving beyond just surrender into developing a real, deep, affectionate relationship through service.
Okay, so surrender first, then active service. And the final stage, the pinnacle.
The pinnacle is Gopanatha. When, by divine grace, someone reaches perfection in their devotional service, they can appreciate Kama as Gopijana Vallabha. That means the pleasure deity of the damsels of Vraja.
The gopis, the cowherd maidens.
Yes, Gopanatha is seen as the initiator of the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance,
The divine dance of love.
a very intimate, symbolic expression of the highest spiritual affection, attracting the cowherd damsels with his flute. This stage represents the peak, the most intimate appreciation of the divine.
So it's a clear path. Initial surrender with Madana Mohana, deepening into loving service with Govinda, and finally reaching that perfect appreciation with Gopanitha.
Exactly, a journey laid out. And this path, explained by Lord Caitanya, is really cherished by the Gacchya Vaikavas. They practice developing this relationship, often through chanting.
And you mentioned the tradition's roots.
Yes, the text even notes the term Gaichya comes from Gauda Desha, the region of Bengal and nearby areas. It grounds the tradition historically and culturally, and distinguishes it from other Vaikava schools like the Tattvavadis, who have different philosophical points. It's a very practical, emotionally resonant framework.
Okay, let's loop back to the title, Worshipping the Six Principles of the Absolute Truth. We've talked about figures and paths, but what are these six core principles?
Right. The text in verse 32 in its explanation says Lord KM enjoys through manifesting in six main ways, six features, and these are described as all six in one and equally worshipable. It's a holistic view.
Okay, what are they?
First, spiritual masters, guru. Notice it's plural. It includes the initiating guru and all instructing gurus. Figures like Nityananda Prabhu, the six Goswamis, they're seen as manifestations of Kyona, guiding souls, guiding us out of the material world. Second, devotees, Shavaktan, like Shuasa and other pure followers. They're considered the Lord's energy, qualitatively the same as him. Third, diverse energies, representing the internal spiritual energy. Figures like Gadathara, Damodara are examples. Fourth, incarnations, Ishavatarakan, like Advaita Prabhu, who descends for specific purposes. Fifth, plenary portions, Kakeshaka. This includes Nityananda Prabhu again as a direct manifestation, and even the initiating spiritual master fits here, embodying aspects of the Lord. And finally, sixth, the primeval Lord himself, specifically Shikona Caitanya.
Wow, that covers, well, everything. From the ultimate source down to the guides who help us.
It's remarkably comprehensive, yes. It shows spiritual reality isn't just one form, but manifests in all these ways, all deserving reverence.
Recognizing the sacred everywhere on the path.
That's the insight, I think. Every one of these, from the Guru to the Lord himself, is a pathway to the absolute truth.
Now, out of those six, the source material really emphasizes one. The spiritual master, the guru. Why is that role considered so absolutely essential?
The explanations, the purports, are very clear on this. Accepting a spiritual master is, well, imperative, necessary. For anyone who genuinely desires to go back to Godhead, to return to their spiritual nature and relationship with the divine, pure devotional service, which is the goal, is achieved through associating with other devotees and, crucially, by accepting a guru.
So it's presented as non-negotiable.
Pretty much, yes. A foundational necessity.
Which means it's not something you can do alone. Just read the books and figure it out.
Absolutely not, according to this text. It explicitly states that if someone is reluctant to accept a spiritual master, reluctant to be initiated, they are sure to be baffled. They'll hit many stumbling blocks.
Stumbling blocks.
And the analogy used is powerful. They are like a ship without a rudder.
Wow, just drifting.
Exactly. Unable to navigate. destined to continue in material existence without relief. It's a very stark warning about needing guidance.
That ship without a rudder image, it really lands. You think about trying to navigate life's complexities alone. This text is saying, for spiritual life, don't even attempt it solo.
That seems to be the message, yes.
Does it mention different types of gurus?
It does. It distinguishes between the initiating spiritual master, the mantra guru. It says you should have only one, emphasizing that foundational bond of initiation. But then there are instructing spiritual masters, shikagugan. And of these, there can be many, no limit. Wisdom can come from various qualified sources.
Okay, one initiating, potentially many instructing.
And service to the spiritual master is essential, whether you serve them directly, physically, or by remembering and strictly following their instructions. Because, as the text says, there is no difference between the spiritual master's instructions and the spiritual master himself. The words carry the spiritual potency.
The instructions are the guru, in essence.
In essence, yes.
And there's another strong warning, isn't there, about thinking you're somehow beyond needing guidance.
Indeed. If someone thinks they're above consulting a spiritual master, the text calls them an offender at the Lord's feet.
An offender? That's strong language.
It is, and it says they can never return to Godhead. It stresses the need to accept a bona fide guru, someone genuinely qualified spiritually, not just based on, say, family tradition or social custom, but on actual spiritual understanding and connection.
So discernment is key, and humility.
Discernment and humble submission, yes. That's a core practical lesson here. Real progress requires guided, humble effort, not just going it alone with intellect.
What an incredible deep dive we've had today. We started with those auspicious beginnings, the Magalakarana. Then we explored the divine hierarchy. Figures like Nityananda Rama, Advaita Acharya understood the Panyakatattva. We followed that beautiful progressive path of devotion through the Vandavana deities Madana Mohana, Govinda, Gopina, and finally grasped those 6 principles of the absolute truth, really seeing how vital that role of the spiritual master is considered.
We really have covered a lot. We've seen how this tradition presents a very clear, structured framework for engaging with the divine, from seeing its different forms to following a practical spiritual journey, and always that emphasis on guidance. It's quite a complete system.
It really ties it all together, doesn't it? You came here looking for insights, for clarity, and maybe you found a new way to look at this tradition, or perhaps even, the whole idea of spiritual seeking more broadly.
Perhaps. And as you reflect on all this, maybe consider, how could these ancient ideas resonate today? The importance of starting intentionally, that progressive journey, the absolute need for genuine guidance. How might those offer a lens for your own search for meaning and connection? In a pretty complex world, what's the one thing from all these intricate teachings that really stands out to you?
That's a really good thought to leave you with. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.